Okay. Now you can start with prayer or whatever you want to start with.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. This is Inner Journey Thrive session every 2 or 3 times a month, depending upon the number of weeks in the month. We meet to have discussion and share ideas and concepts and talks about spiritual topics related to science of mind principles for the most part. So this evening, my name is Dianne Bridges and have Reverend Sue Ellen Miller here, who is the lead of the Inner Journey teaching chapter in Oklahoma City. And this evening, we're going to talk about gentleness. And this talk is in line with the community for spiritual living. It's in line with their monthly theme for the month of April, as well as I decided to go ahead and align and with even this week's topic. and so I'm making that statement that this discussion leverages as well as adds some of my own thinking, but it leverages the CSL talking points and my own thinking. The title today is Let Gentleness Reveal Your Divinity. So let's go ahead and I invite those of you that are listening and you, Reverend Sue Ellen, I invite you, let's go ahead and start off with an invocation. And if you so choose, go ahead and close your eyes and just take a brief moment to settle yourself into this moment. And I know that as we breathe, as we relax into this moment, that we are here and we are here together in God. We embrace spirit. We are spirit. And I know that this evening's discussion is full of God's grace, full of the divinity and the divine light that each of us are. And I know that as you listen to this and as Reverend Sue Ellen and I discuss this, that the light of God again shines through us, and there is a light that is even made brighter in each of us as a result of this discussion this evening. One little takeaway that helps in the burning, the brightness of our light, the divinity that each of us are. And I am thankful for this opportunity tonight for this discussion, and embrace God. Together we say, and so it is. So a key point, in addition to just letting gentleness review your divinity, is remembering who we are along our daily journey. What we do day in and day out to remember who we are, and I love this affirmation that we let our gentleness inside, and we let our gentleness review our giant self, our giant self. To me, what that means is that we gently love ourselves and allow our divinity to shine, to glow. We gently love ourselves and allow our nobility to radiate. And we gently love ourselves and allow our giant self to just be. Our giant self is our divinity, right? Our nobility. And as we love ourselves, in addition, we remember who we are. And we make that, again, that remembering part of our daily living. And I think that that's really important. That's really, really important. When I saw again the talk, and I saw this theme of giant gentleness, it reminded me of a poem that I had written back in 2006. And if you'd like to hear it, Reverend Sue Ellen, I would love to share it. It's related to this topic because it talks about giants, silent giants, which in fact, that's the name of the poem. And in my mind, the silent giants are really God, right? Divinity. And they're around us as well as within us. Would you like me to share the poem?
Sure, please.
Thank you. Can't believe I wrote this back in 2006. Anyway, that's a long time ago. I was, I think, in prep training, maybe at that time. So the name of the poem is, again, Silent Giants. I'll interpret it afterwards. There is strength as they stand, towering in statuesque form, dedicated like steadfast soldiers, inspiring mankind through service. There is beauty as she moves, undulating with perfect rhythm, unfolding like a budding flower, expressing splendor through form. And there is peace as he sits, breathing in calm awareness, in perfect harmony like nature, spreading serenity through life. There is love as they join, embracing with deep passion, in concert and in spirit like twin flames, sharing loving kindness with all. And there is joy as they listen, finding the truth within, glowing like shining stars, radiating light with true nobility, knowing there are silent giants all around and within. So the point there again is that there are silent giants, God, spirit, divinity, all around and within. And that is our gentleness. And remembering that divinity that is all around as well as within, that is key to gentleness. When I was talking initially about standing, towering, those were big spruce trees. I wrote this when I was at my cabin, surrounded by these huge, gigantic trees. So imagine how they're all around, right? Inspiring mankind through their service. And then the beauty of the movement of the she, I use the pronoun she, was a dancer expressing herself through dance. And then the peaceful, when I said there is peace as he sits, that actually was my dog. I've had standard poodles that have just been so calm, so loyal, you know, as I would go through life, craziness, and then there'd be my calm and loyal dog, you know, spreading serenity by just being. And then the love, you know, of the twin flames, of course, is, you know, people, anybody together as twin flames. So anyway, I wanted to share that poem because I thought it was very similar to the giant gentleness, right? The silent giant. And again, gently loving ourselves and allowing our giant self to be. When I before we started recording, we were talking about the ministerial selection at the CSL here in Colorado Springs, and a candidate, Sally Bartholomew. I just went online just to do a little research and found a YouTube talk that she had done at her current church. And one of her key points that she made is God in me, as me, is me. God in me, as me, is me. I thought, wow, that's really profound. Remembering again who we are. And so each of us are, the individualized expressions of spirit. This God in us, as us, is us. Each one of us express ourselves differently, and we are all perfect in that expression. So back to the point about gentle giantness and letting gentleness review your divinity. There were 3 discussion points. Would just like to talk about that. The first is basically be who you are. Back to the point that God in you, as you, is you, right? And be who you are. And it is okay to be yourself. And we are blessed to be in a country, right, that doesn't constrain that. We can all be ourselves. For me, I'm the one that really holds myself back in expression many times. And I'm the one that has been uncomfortable in my past, in my own skin. But to be who we are, and it doesn't matter of how awkward life is or challenging life is, be who we are. What we can control, of course, is how we respond to these life situations, and they can be challenging. I'm being very diplomatic in my word here. They can be like crap. They really can. But it's important for me to be who I am, but also know that in the being as I go through life, that I do and I can control how I respond. Number 1. Number 2, our perspectives is everything, right? When we go through life, if we think life is miserable, if we think it's always full of problems, if we think that everybody we run into is going to cause issues, that's a perspective then that we're going to create and that we're going to experience. I found this quote, and I really like it, that as we go through day-to-day life, notice what you notice. I like that quote by Allen Ginsberg. Notice what you notice. In other words, our perspective, what we think about, what we focus on, is what our life around us is going to be. So the first discussion point is, yes, life happens and it's not always positive in nature. The key thing as we experience life is, again, be who you are. And it's okay to be yourself. You can control how you respond, right, to certain things. And you can control your perspective and what you choose to focus on. Another quote, it's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not, right? that holds you back by Eric Thomas. So gently love yourself and allow yourself, your giant self, to be. It's okay. Gently love yourself and allow your giant self to be. And remember again who you are. The second point I want to make about this giant gentleness is, and this is a good thing to contemplate, turn compassion around. I like that phrase. Turn compassion around. Many times, some of us, we are in service of others and we put others first. We're compassionate towards others. We're forgiving towards others. We forget to be compassionate and forgiving, to ourselves, right? So I love this quote by Jack Cornfield. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. That is so true. So turn your compassion around to yourself, turn it around. I mean, I know that, oh gosh, I can give so many examples, and I don't think that's important really, is that after, every day there's interaction, usually every day with people, right? And you have an opportunity to respond in a certain way. And I'm not always responding in a manner that I think is the best, especially if I immediately respond and don't take time to contemplate and ask for prayer and divine guidance. When I do that, I need to learn to be compassionate about that, right? Just acknowledge I've been, it's okay to be myself. I perhaps don't always act appropriately in every situation, and I can turn that compassionate nature back on myself and forgive myself. And I know, in this life and no doubt in the next life, that there will be many, many more opportunities. So I can learn from whatever it was that I did that may not have been the best, because there will be future opportunities. If not in this life, then definitely in the next one. So the point here is, again, practice self-compassion and self-forgiveness. And back to this again, perspective is everything. You don't, and this gets back, notice to what you notice. If perhaps you had a situation in life and you did respond in a manner that you wish you would have responded in a different manner, you notice that, are you beating yourself up, or are you simply accepting, and then acknowledging that you had a situation where you could learn? And knowing that there are future events, there will be. So notice again what you're noticing about you, and then be compassionate. So again, if your compassion doesn't include yourself, it is incomplete. So under this theme of gentle, giant gentleness, again, gently love yourself. Allow your giant self to be, and know the silent giant within. Again, remember who you are, and turn that compassion around. So the third point here, the first one being to be who you are. The second one, to turn the compassion around to yourself. The third one is to show yourself some gratitude and love. In the talking points, there was a statement that for some reason, this jumped out at me. You know, practice being grateful for you. Wow. And sometimes, I know Reverend Sue Ellen, you talk about daily how you write down the things that you're grateful for. I wouldn't say I do it daily. I do it frequently. I would say I do it frequently. And I have never written a statement where I was grateful for me, for just being who I am. So I've never done that. I thought that was really profound. And there's always something to be grateful for.
Sure.
About yourself.
Sure.
Yeah, no. So show yourself some of that gratitude, as well as show yourself some of that love, right? That's part of, again, what I'll say is this giant gentleness. Again, going back to what I said about loving yourself instead of beating yourself up, about maybe how a certain situation unfolded and how you responded in it. And I love the work that Masaru Emoto does with the water. And there was a good reminder in the talking points about that, how he does the experimentation of how one talks to the water, what emotions and feelings and things are said to the water, how it influences the structure of the crystals in the water. And so back to loving yourself. As humans, our body is 70% water. So talking to yourself and saying loving things to yourself, expressing gratitude to yourself changes the structure, the molecular structure of yourself, right? And so we know, or some of us know, through our spiritual practices, the divinity that is within us, right? The giant gentleness within us and how we are. This is proven science that our feelings and emotions and how we think and talk to ourselves, it actually physically affects us. So, the adult body is 70% water, and, water again shows different shapes of these ice crystals when they're frozen, depending upon the information that it receives. So our consciousness changes the makeup of our body. And the thing that was interesting when I went to my library to get the book to just brush up on this a little bit, that these ice crystals, they appear, grow, and they disappear in such a small period of time, in just 2 minutes. So even the slightest little thought can have an impact on your body. And water, it was proven via his photography that water understands what it is shown. Love and gratitude. It depicted more, these are my words, symmetrical crystals and more beautifully shaped crystals with love and gratitude versus anger and hate. When the anger and hate was expressed there, again, these are my descriptions, the crystals were deformed, incomplete, right? So anyway, sensitive to this energy that he calls Hado, which is the subtle energy that exists in the universe. And we are that, we contribute to that, we are that vibration. And we can vibrate again in a loving, grateful manner versus a hatred, angry manner. And how we vibrate and the intensity of that vibration of our thought and who we are, that would influence it. So that influences our body. So this point then, I bring this up for the last point here of showing yourself gratitude and love.
Mhm.
Yeah. So another quote by Andy Puttycombe. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly, but we can't always change what's happening around us, but we can change what's happening within us, right? With gratitude and love. So again, gently love ourselves and allow our giant selves to be. And know the silent giant is within you, right? Divinity is within you, and remember who you are. So I'm repeating myself to get the message across. These are 3 points on a way of being and how you can build that, this giant gentleness. And the affirmation that I started with at the very beginning, that we let our gentleness reveal our giant self. Let me say that again. We let our gentleness reveal our giant self. And ways to do that are, again, be who you are. And remember, it's okay to be who you are, right? And let yourself be yourself. And then the other thing is, turn compassion around. Yes, be compassionate, with others, right? But turn it around towards yourself and practice that self-compassion and forgiveness as you go through the daily things of your life. And then the last but not least, show yourself the gratitude, right? Be grateful for who you are. Maybe write that down in your daily gratitude journal. I'm grateful for who I am. Or I'm grateful for how I reacted today. Or I'm grateful for how I expressed something. So those are 3 ways to adopt the giant gentleness. So I just want to ask you a question, Reverend Sue Ellen, if you're open to having discussion here on this, that with this talk about gentleness, and even the Silent Giant poem that I read, my question is what does all of that mean to you? What does gentleness mean to you? And
It's an interesting question. I'm thinking the giant gentleness is this self with a big S, with a capital S.
yeah,
That is the divine that's within me.
right.
And that I experience more of it, the more I move into that space of gentleness. Because that divine self is not doesn't feel hard to me. It always feels soft. It always feels gentle. It feels kind. It feels respectful. So when you said in the beginning, your comment about be who you are, the who you are, the real who you are, not the persona, but the real essence of who you are is gentle, is giant. That is the S, the self with a capital S. It is the spirit with a capital S that's flowing through every cell of your being. So that's if we are who we are, that's what we're expressing.
Nice.
I love this idea of paying attention. Watch what we're paying attention to, because when we're paying attention to the gentle side of things, that's what we're expressing, that's what we're feeling. Because we can't express love and patience from a place of anger and impatience.
Right.
I've done visioning now multiple times where that comes across the question, what must you release? And what comes to me is impatience. What must you embrace? Patience. Duh. I mean, it's like that is a circular argument. Okay, I got it. But it's up for me regularly that what I should embrace is patience and what I should release is impatience. Those are parts that are the patience is the gentle side of whatever it is, and the impatience is that not so gentle side, more ego side. Turn the compassion around is kind of, if we don't love ourselves, we don't have the capacity to love anybody else.
Right.
So we have to start where we are. So start with whatever. So yesterday, here's one of those. I was having an absolutely awesome day. I had a massage scheduled.
Nice.
So I go to the massage and I ask her to work. She always works on my shoulders because I carry my tension in my shoulders.
Yeah, I do
I asked her to
too.
work on my feet as well. It was one of the best massages I've ever had from her.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, she's good anyway, but it's really good. And as I was getting ready to leave, one of her people in her quote salon that she's based in, um, came up with a Tupperware container, okay, brand name, plastic container uh, of chocolate cupcakes, and said, "Would you like one?" And I'm going, "Okay, I'll take one. I'm not going to turn it a gift." So thank you, I appreciate that. And she says, "Oh, they're just plain old Pillsbury chocolate cupcakes. They looked good and turned out to be okay." So, but anyway, so I was blessed with that. Now, frequently when I go to get a massage, I stop on my way home to pick up Thai food because I love the Thai food. It's really good. It's a little pricey, but when I'm honoring myself anyway, I go
oh,
out of my way. Well, it's not. It's actually on my way home. Stop and call from the parking lot of the massage place and say, "Could you have this order for me? I'll be there in a little bit." She's going,
nice.
"Oh." So I go there and pick it up, and she and I have this dialogue. It's like 4:15. Nobody's there. It's too early for most people, but they're open. So we're having this dialogue about names and remembering, and she's from some other country, Thailand, I'm assuming, but it may not be. We talk about my name, and she gifts me with a peanut butter cup.
Oh.
I apparently I feel I was chocolate deficient, and the universe said, "Okay, you need a chocolate cupcake and a peanut butter cup."
Well, maybe you're so sweet that you were attracting sweets.
Could be, I don't know, but it felt like here I am honoring my body, honoring myself, giving my essence what it needs, and the universe is giving me even more.
Oh, sweet. Oh, that's
Felt
nice.
absolutely delightful.
Totally delightful.
So I had lots of things to write in my journal yesterday.
Nice. And you were grateful for who you were
Absolutely, absolutely.
and grateful for those around you as well.
That's right. That's right. Because I think a piece of this has to do with the essence of who I am is attracting all of that good into my life. Taking the time to make sure that I have the massage, that I honor the idea that once a month I can eat this more expensive Thai food that's really good. That I don't get otherwise, and
Nice.
and have a delightful conversation with the woman in the Thai restaurant. She's just really sweet. So it's it's awesome.
Nice. I was reading a book called Dash. Hold on just a moment. Yeah, have you heard of it?
I want to say yes.
Right, the dash.
Oh,
I
the
just
dash. The
I
dash.
was going through my library yesterday, just organizing. I have to get rid of a few things, but this is written by Linda Ellis and Mac Anderson, and you know how on um, the headstones in cemeteries typically will show the year born dash the year of transition.
Mm-hmm.
So the point of the book is about your life is the dash, right?
Great.
Right. And your life really, um, then you're in control of your life.
Yeah.
And to the point that you made yesterday, you had a little snippet of of your dash where you were bringing love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loving kindness to everybody, and then that was coming back to you. And
Yes.
so there were beautiful stories. Just Linda Ellis is the one that wrote the poem, The Dash, and then Mac Anderson had lovely little stories like the one you just shared
Mm-hmm.
about experiences in life. And his overall theme is gratitude and love,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I bought this at Walmart of all places, in the Walmart corporate store,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was just a lovely indication of the culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
was in, the business store for people like me. You'd go in and find all, the Sam Walton book and whatever else. But this was, a leadership principle, which I thought was cool. And I'd never read it until last night. I probably bought it 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, it boils down to, like you said, the giant S, right? The giant self,
Mm-hmm.
spirit, divinity in you. And that quote earlier that God in me, as me, is me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was your life yesterday and right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you were attracting all that gentleness, that giant gentleness of others to yourself. So I liked this talk. It was a good reminder to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Be who I am. But I can control certain things about that. And I agree with you. Who we really are is the light.
Yes. And when the things happen that we can't control, and sometimes they do, then it's our response that we can control.
Correct.
You
How
know,
we
it's
respond.
how we respond is what we can do. What we can, it's like, okay, so here I am in this situation, whatever this situation would be.
Right.
How am I going to respond to this?
Right.
What am I going to do next?
Right.
How is it going to unfold?
Right. You're going to be a bridge to build, right? Or you're going to be a wall and a barrier.
Right. Or am I going to be open and be a sponge to soak up all the stuff that I can learn from this situation so
Right.
that I can either share it with others so they don't have to do it, or that I can embody it myself so that I don't have to do it, or both.
Right. I found it ironically very freeing to understand that I have that kind of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, it was very freeing to have,
Yes.
and gave me a lot of confidence to know
Great.
that I have that control, that of remembering who I am, the giant self, that's in me, remembering and then that I have control. It's very freeing.
Mm-hmm. And it's equally freeing to me to say, I have control. Now let me relinquish my control to the divine within me and let it do the guiding and the choosing, so that, it's like, okay, I don't have to have complete mental control. I can allow spirit to move through me as me, without the intellectual me getting in the way.
I agree with you. That's very freeing. It's afforded me the freedom, the ability to do things I probably would never have taken on,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
Because I would question my ability. But having that partnership and knowing of God has provided these are corporate words, confidence to do things, right?
Mhm.
And knowing that it's not all you. That's just so nice.
It is all you, but
Well,
it's all the bigger you.
fair. Thank you for that, Claire. Thank you for that significant clarification. Yeah, I agree totally.
It's God's expressing through you as you is you.
I know, I know. I know. But that was really the point of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
message.
the second quote. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you are not.
You're asking me if that's what it was?
Yes, please.
Hold on. I have to find it. Okay, this was from Eric Thomas. It's not who you are that holds you back. It's who you think you're not.
That's okay. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Cool. It's who you think you are not.
I know. I know.
We just we just don't think we're worthy. We don't think we're enough. We don't. Yes.
That's why
And
we
then and there's that trite little saying that God never gives us more, puts more on our plate than we can handle.
fair. Although sometimes in life you question, I question that. It's like,
I'm
no,
like, I agree because we think we are not.
not right. Do we have to remember who
Yeah,
we are?
right. Exactly right.
It is, it really is. Oh, I love this philosophy. I was so almost every morning, not every morning, right? But yeah, I have the little puppy, and then little puppies need to be walked, right? And I have a neighbor here who also walks her dogs, and the dogs love each other. So we get together almost every morning. And just yesterday, we were both talking about if it weren't for our spiritual practices, um, don't know where we'd be right now.
Yeah.
Do not know where we would be. Would not have been able to do all the things, in my case, that I've done if it
Mhm.
weren't for spirit and remembering who I am and asking, as you said, for the divine guidance and the knowing that, it's not all just me, even though I
Yeah.
said really it's not,
Yeah.
right, right. And so she was just saying the same thing. It's just such a blessing. It truly is.
Hmm.
Truly is. Well, cool. Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The top of my head. Is there anything up there?
I just see a beautiful aura.
Okay. I haven't figured out what's in the background of the room,
My room?
mine,
Oh,
because the light will shift and it will dim and then it will brighten. And I'm not doing anything.
oh,
Just somehow or other, once in a while, the light will shift. And so the background of the room will be more gray and
oh,
less bright. And then it'll shift back. And I have not yet figured out what the heck Zoom is doing to my background to
oh,
cause it to go dim or bright.
oh. And so what came to me as you were speaking was a power surge. Maybe the computer's doing something that, and so
Well, could be, but it seems to be. related to this particular background
Oh,
and not others.
oh,
So,
well,
I don't know.
it's showing all the spirits that flow in and out.
Apparently, it's a puzzle. It's not an important puzzle for me to really try and figure it out. But
No.
it's just kind of odd because it'll just all of a sudden dim, and then a couple seconds later it'll go back bright.
Oh, that is
And of course, now that I've said it, it won't do it again. But it's been
right.
doing it off and on for weeks. So
Maybe it's just God speaking to you in a different way.
yes, like the tinnitus in my ears. I have
Um,
I have tinnitus in one ear that sounds as just white noise.
wow.
And sometimes it's bad and sometimes it's not so bad. And right now it's not bad at all. But the other ear occasionally gives me chimes,
Ah,
these high pitched little ding, 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 ding.
wow.
And then it'll be silent for a while. And then it'll start to play again. And I'm going, okay, is this God telling me something? Am I supposed to pay attention to this? But it happens anywhere. It's not just when I'm driving, or not just when I'm trying to go to sleep, not just when I'm writing or whatever. It's anywhere. And it could be it can ding off and on for half an hour, or
Wow.
you know, or it can be silent for a couple of hours, or I'm not aware of it. Just my my body is just amazing to me. Thank you, God. I don't know what these chimes are about, but okay. If I'm supposed to know something about this, I'm assuming that that information will come across somewhere, somewhen, on what I'm supposed to do with my ears chiming.
Absolutely.
Tiny little, tiny, light little, like like very faint wind chimes.
Wow. That sounds lovely, actually.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's God whispering to you. And then I don't know if you see a trend that after it occurs, if you get that jolt of some idea out of nowhere,
So far I haven't made that correlation.
that correlation, right?
Not to say it hasn't happened, but I haven't made it yet.
Well, then maybe it's just God's music to um,
Yeah, maybe so.
calm your soul.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. Well, I can go ahead and pray us out here and then we can stop the recording.
Okay, you're gonna ask for donations?
Oh, dearie me, thank you for that reminder. Yes. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, we're part of the Inner Journey teaching chapter in Oklahoma, and we welcome donations to support the spread of science of mind and spiritual practices. There's two ways to do the donation. One is through the website, inner-journey.org. There's a donation button, just click on that. And the second way that you can do a donation is by texting to the phone number 405-337-9739. And in both situations, the word for this evening's conversation is faith. So in your donation, we welcome whatever you do, and you can click on faith. Thank you. So with that, go ahead and pray out. Appreciate you joining me, Reverend Sue Ellen, and I hope that anybody, whoever listens to this after the fact, appreciate you. So I invite each of you to gently close your eyes and just feel that giant gentleness. Know that divinity that is inside you and feel the gentleness envelop your inner being and your outer being. And I know that for each of us, that giant gentleness, that giant S, that giant self, God. I know that God in each of us, God as each of us, is God in each of us. And I know that, I see that we are the light. We are the light, we are the spirit as it expresses through us as us. And I'm grateful for this evening, so grateful for this opportunity to express these ideas and the opportunity to have a discussion with Reverend Sue Ellen. And I know that this word, it spreads and permeates each one of us like the water molecules, the gratitude and the love that we're acknowledging and expressing, that it permeates Reverend Sue Ellen and I, and anybody that's listening, and anybody beyond. And I'm so grateful for that knowing, so grateful for that knowing, that understanding, and that belief. And together we say, and so it is.
It is.